Welcome back to API Kitchen, where we cook up secure APIs. I'm confident Stavely, the chef de cuisine in this unique kitchen. Today, we're tackling a scenario all too common, yet widely neglected. A team of developers crafting APIs without a solid grasp of security best practices. So let's roll up our sleeves and get to the heart of secure cooking. Imagine a bustling kitchen where the chefs craft dishes without a foundational understanding of food safety. In the world of APIs, that's akin to building and maintaining these vital services without a firm knowledge of secure coding practices. That would be a scenario fraught with the risk of digital food poisoning. So tell me, how would you address this security issue? Alternatively, I'd like you to come with me as we discuss some solutions. Step 1, set the table for security. Our mission is clear: to build secure APIs. We need to start by setting the table right. This means cultivating a deep-seated understanding of best practices in API security within our development teams. It's not just about writing code. It's about crafting secure digital experiences with every keystroke. Step 2, cooking up a storm of knowledge. We wouldn't expect our chefs to cook without proper training. And the same goes for our developers. It's time to turn up the heat with comprehensive security guidelines and documentation. Like any good recipe, these guides will be the foundation upon which we build complex, secure API dishes. Step 3, tasting as we go, integrating DAST. Now, here's where we add a secret spice: integrating DAST, which is dynamic application security testing, into our continuous integration and continuous development, which is CI/CD pipeline. It's like tasting our dish at every stage, ensuring that not a single element is out of place, that every layer of our API lasagna is cooked to perfection, secure from all known or foreseeable vulnerabilities that could arise in the dynamic environment of use. Step 4, the right tools for a finely tuned kitchen. In the kitchen, a chef's tools are their lifeline, and that's well in the digital space. We must equip our developers with static analysis tools that act as sous chefs, guiding and correcting as they go along. These tools are crucial in a landscape where one oversight can lead to a cascade of issues. Step 5, a feast of continuous learning. But what about when the kitchen is too hectic for a sit-down lesson? We spice things up with micro-learning, quick and focused sessions that fit into the cracks of a busy day. This way, our developers can nibble on nuggets of wisdom without stepping away from the heat of the kitchen. And there we have it, a full course of action to turn our developers into security connoisseurs. With a solid grounding in best practices and the right tools for the job, we can serve up secure APIs that stand the test of time and taste. We are not just coding, we're infusing security into the very DNA of our digital delight. Our guests will be joining us today at the virtual kitchen. Let's go hear what they have to say about fixing these security issues. Katie Paxton-Fear, aka InsiderPhd, is an ethical hacker. She's also an educational content creator at traceable.ai, and she's a lecturer of cybersecurity at Manchester Metropolitan University. Welcome to the API Kitchen, Katie.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here as well. My first question here is, what has been your experience with development teams that are unaware of secure coding best practices for API development? I'd like you to please share your thoughts on how you might resolve this sort of issue, especially how you approach this in both scenarios where the client has a large budget for their dev teams to be trained, and for environments where they have major financial constraints or limitations.
It's really interesting. So I am actually an API developer by training. I have a degree in computer science. Once I graduated with my degree, I was like, that's it, big worldwide, here I come, industry. And I made RESTful APIs, which was not quite as interesting as I thought it would be by the job description. So I actually come from a developer background. I know what it's like to manage API projects. I know what it's like to have a huge RESTful API that you've got to manage and deal with. So I come very much from that perspective. And I really do think that helps me both on the hacking side of things and actually having quite a lot of empathy. I think a lot of security issues come because development teams are on a lot of pressure, right? Like, you do not get measured by how many bugs you fix. You don't get measured by, look, I prevented something. You get measured by tickets. How many stories have you done? How many features have you got shipped? Where are they in the testing cycle? So I think quite a lot of it comes from the pressure of, okay, we need to add a feature, and another feature, and another, and slowly you get into this kind of situation where developers aren't rewarded for finding security bugs. They're kind of slapped on the wrist. They're like, no, bad developer. Don't make security flaws. And it's kind of the trade-off that people make. So I would say the number one piece of advice I can give is not actually to developers, but their managers and product managers and people who are looking at what features to ship. You've really got to prioritize security at that time. You can't just let security be an afterthought. You should be rewarding developers for fixing security problems the same way you would for shipping any other kind of feature. You should be encouraging them to submit security bugs and to recognize and test not just their code, but their peers' code as well. And, lay off them. Sounds really bad, but it comes out of desperation. It comes out of this place of, I need to get this shipped, so I'm just going to do it in the easy way, not the secure way, the easy way. I think it's really cool that a lot of frameworks nowadays have actually built-in security as part of the framework, as part of that package. And that really helps some of these issues. But I do think that we kind of have a bit of a blame culture, whose fault is that security vulnerability? When really we need a teamwork culture of, hey, there's a security flaw, I'm going to fix it, hey, can you come help me out? And that being just as valued as shipping something new is.
Beautiful. I like what you actually said about being valued in the first place, right? My last question would be a question I'm asking all of my guests because I just want to compare notes and just see where everyone is at. I'd like you to tell us, what is one underutilized API security best practice that you consider the salt of the earth? A basic yet potent aspect that may greatly improve an organization's security posture?
Oh, that's such a good question, because there are so many little things that an organization can do to improve their security. Almost all the bugs I've ever found that I've been paid a bounty for, that I've submitted and got thanks for, none of them are technical. None of them are super hacker. Oh yeah, I'm going to use this special tool and I'm going to take this, this hacker script that I wrote. All of them are little mistakes. They are, hey, we forgot to add access control on that RESTful API endpoint. The vast majority of them are not super technical, super cool bugs. So I would say the biggest thing you can do is put in a vulnerability management program in place. Now, I am actually asking for quite a lot here because I've said vulnerability management program. But you can start small. Have a place where security researchers like me can report vulnerabilities to you and engage in an open dialogue with them. A lot of people think if you publish the kind of why my product was insecure, that consumers will be off-put by that and go, ooh, that's insecure, I don't want to use that. Recognizing you have security flaws, actually putting fixes in place for them, and then saying, hey, look, our team really cares about security, is such a huge benefit to not just your community, but the security community and your customers as well. People want to see that you take security seriously. Now, you can start to build on this. Maybe you start with email inbox, then you start to do coordinated disclosures, and you can build from this. But having that first step of saying, hey, we're going to accept vulnerabilities from hackers can be a great small little thing that your organization can do. And it costs you, a single email inbox? That is nothing compared to the potential breach of all of your customers' data.
Thank you so much for joining us today at the Virtual Kitchen. Remember, a well-informed development team is the cornerstone of any secure API strategy. In the coming episodes, we'll be discussing even more API security issues and walking you through how to solve them. Remember to subscribe to CCNet TV and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on new episodes of API Kitchen showing each Thursday. Until then, keep your kitchen clean, your code cleaner, and your APIs secure.